You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
Offended
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended a Shaolin temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical branch.
Oh boy, we thought we were out of the woods in this legislative session here in Oregon. The bills, all of the bills put forth to restrict the Oregon medical marijuana program went down in defeat. Most recently, the omnibus bill put forth by law enforcement that pretty much would have handed over the private patient registry to those folks. We thought everything was good, and we're just about ready to celebrate the end of the session when, oh, they snuck a fast one on us, folks. Here in the state of Oregon, the legislators are proposing an increase in medical marijuana fees in this state from $100 annually per patient to $200 annually per patient, right? You're thinking, oh my God, that's terrible, $100, but at least those folks that are on the Oregon health plan or getting food stamps or that are getting Social Security disability payments, at least those folks will have a low-income option. Not so much. That $20 option that had been available for patients from those 3 different groups are now restricted to just one group. That's right, folks on food stamps, folks on the Oregon health plan will have to pay the full $200 fee increase. But wait, that's not all. If you order now, you also get a $200 grower fee. That's right, they're going to institute a brand new fee for those patients who aren't growing for themselves or do not have a caregiver to grow for them and have to get a third-party grower. There will be now a $200 charge for the third-party grower card. So consider if you're a person, that might be on food stamps and Oregon health plan, fixed income, getting by on maybe 3 digits worth of income per month, and you struggle to pay that $100 or that $20 fee even for you is a difficulty. Now you're going to have $400 for your medical marijuana protection money. But you know, this brings me up to something I'm stealing from Damon Alexander, and that is, why is anybody surprised when their blackmailer raises the extortion fee? Because that's really what we've been talking about here in medical marijuana is protection money, a blackmail racket by the state that says, oh, we're going to lock up all the potheads, but for you sick folks, you give us $100, we'll look the other way. Oh, we can still fire you. Sure, we can fire you. We can kick you out of your jobs. We can test your urine to see if you might have been driving, take your license away for that. We can have your name on a database, your address of where you're going to be growing your plants. We can make you jump through hoops, see a doctor every year. Even if you're paralyzed in a wheelchair, we'll make you see a doctor every year, pay the money it costs to see a doctor every year to verify that you're still paralyzed in the wheelchair, and pay your what was $100 every year. Yeah, we're just a little bit. You need a little bit more of that fee money, maybe $200. Oh, you need someone to grow for you. How about $400? Oh, you don't want to pay the fee? Well, you know, your parent won't be on you and throw you in a cell, because that's what's going to happen. And by the way, it's going to backfire them on them as well. These legislators looked at this and they said, oh my God, we've got a budget where we can't fill up the safe drinking water fund. We don't have money for the safe drinking water fund. Where, oh where will we get this money? Well, Lord knows we can't have a sales tax here in the state of Oregon. Couldn't do that like, you know, almost every other state in the nation. Couldn't do that. Couldn't raise taxes on anybody. I know what we can do. Let's pick on the medical marijuana patients. You know, they're willing to give $100 every year. I'm sure they're willing to give $200 or maybe $400. Gee, there's 40,000 of them. We could make $7 million for the biennium. You know, for 2 years, we could make $7 million off these guys. But guess what, Oregon legislators? That's going to backfire you. Not get 1,000 patients. Their fees up to $400 to register. And think about this, too. We oftentimes have people that have families that are on the medical marijuana program. A husband and a wife who are both disabled and both have to register a grower. So now it's going to cost them $800 for the husband and wife to get on the program. They'll say, screw it, I'll stay illegal, spend that $800 and buy me a pound. That's what's going to happen. You're just going to create 10, 20, 30,000 more criminals. And those criminals will be the sickest, most disabled, and the least able to defend themselves in court. The $7 million per biennium you thought you were going to get is going to dry up. It's going to go away because the people aren't going to pay those fees. Meanwhile, the people who will be able to pay those fees, you'll not have the revenue you thought you were going to get from that. you'll jack the fees up more on them. Gee, if they were willing to pay $200, I'm sure they'll be willing to pay $250, just because you'll need to make up that revenue that you lost from all the people leaving the program. Meanwhile, those of us in the program have been screaming at you for years now about the need for safe access, about how setting up dispensaries would create a revenue stream for the state, that we would be more than willing to have balanced budgets by having more jobs created, by having reasonable taxation, reasonable fees on this system. But no, that always gets tossed aside. And of course, the most logical way to solve the entire problem with access for patients, with revenue for the state, with jobs for the people, would be to legalize the marijuana for the healthy people. You think you can get $7 million per biennium off of 40,000 cannabis users? What do you think you could get per biennium on 400,000 cannabis users in the state of Oregon? It's right there in front of you. A big stinking pile of money. A big, huge group of people who would be more than willing to pay a reasonable tax instead of being locked up in a cell. But no, you continue to ignore that. You continue to toss it aside because of some outdated, antiquated, stereotyped, prejudicial notions about what cannabis is and what cannabis users are like. We are sick of it. We're fed up with it. And I'm calling on medical marijuana card holders. You know what we're going to do? We're going to burn our cards. We're going to send them back. We're going to say, no, we're not going to pay your protection money anymore. Why don't you spend the money to lock up some people in wheelchairs? I'm sure you'll love the public relations you get out of that, legislators. You are not standing up for the people of Oregon. You are disobeying the will of the people on this issue, and you are a shame for you. It is a shame and a travesty for you to treat the sickest, most disabled Oregonians this way. We will not stand for it. You're going to be hearing from us.